Guys, hi. So today I want to quickly address the issue of South Africans once again being labeled xenophobic, Afrophobic, etc., etc. And I just want to tell you that South Africa and South Africans are probably the only country that loves African countries. Only one. And here's why. The myth that South Africans are xenophobic is just a way of making people who are doing the wrong things feel comfortable with getting away with it. And for the longest time, South Africans have allowed it to go on by accepting that label of being labeled xenophobic, because xenophobia is centered around feelings of hatred. And none of what South Africans are saying has anything to do with hate, and everything to do with the law, and everything to do with trying to assist African countries to do exactly what South Africa did in the fight for their own liberation. South Africa is the country that got its liberation the latest of all the African countries. So while everyone was already enjoying the party and everyone was already milking their minerals and whatever, their wealth, South Africa was still behind because we were colonized. There are places we were not allowed to go to, etc., etc. And the minute we win that fight, suddenly we have to open our doors to everyone to come and transfer their countries or their leaders' failures to us. Because now people have died, they've sacrificed their lives, and it's always under the disguise that, oh, because we helped you. Now, here's the thing about this help. When South Africans were fighting for apartheid to end, some of the South Africans went to other countries to organize themselves, to continue the fight, to organize themselves, to feed into the fight that was going on at home. They didn't go to other African countries in millions and run away and say, oh, because we're fighting, take us in, give us jobs. We want to sell tomatoes on the streets. We want to have freedom. We want to have rights. We want to hijack buildings. We want to have our children near schools, etc., etc. They stayed in those countries to organize themselves and equip themselves to fight. But here in South Africa, we have people who are capable of fighting. We know they're capable of fighting because they fight us on these social media streets every day. But when it's time to fight for themselves in their countries, they become incapable. They will go to court to remember their rights that they have in South Africa. They will organize themselves according to their nations and according to their different tribes that they have in their countries and fight to stay in South Africa. They don't fight to organize themselves and go back and feed to people who are in their country to fight. So ideally, the message is, if you can escape your country to come to South Africa, you have won. The message is not that we want to fix our country. We want our leaders to account for the things that they've done. We want to be free one day from these oppressors. And we want to enjoy the wealth and the minerals that our country have. No, the message is, come to South Africa, go to South Africa and find joy, peace, and freedom. So South Africans hate you because they're saying, you guys have minerals, you've got wealth, you've got a culture to preserve, you've got an identity to preserve. We know how rich Africans are and proud they are of their lineage, of their ancestors. We're saying go and fight for that, instead of coming to South Africa and fighting South Africans for trying to preserve that about themselves. I don't get the part where this is hatred. And South Africans are saying, we fought. We don't mind helping you to fight, but we don't want you to want to not fight and just come and be South African. Then you turn around and you start fighting South Africans. Oh, what's so special about being South African? What's special about being South African is that we're South Africans in South Africa. And that's the kind of pride that we want you to have about yourself, about your country, about your identity. And we want you to have that pride, not just for yourself, but for your children and their future as well. What pride do you have teaching your children that the solution that they have is running to South Africa and coming on the internet and fighting and swearing and, fighting for the bare minimum? There's no pride in that. What happened to Africans being proud people? You're losing your pride because you're unable to face and address your own leaders who are holding on to power, who are holding on to corruption, who are going to kill you and beat you up, and you are unable to stand up for yourself because you're scared to die. You're going to die in South Africa anyways. You can come to South Africa today. Doesn't mean you're exempt from death. You're going to die anyway, even in South Africa. But at least have a death that has some pride in it. You can't be glorifying things like, taking South Africans to court and having NGOs and NPOs fighting with you. Because at the end of the day, they're fighting with you to stay here so that they can continue to milk in your country. Who's going to fight for those minerals and that wealth that you have in your countries if you are coming here? What do you think they're helping you stay in South Africa for? So that you can forget who you are and they can continue to loot in peace. And we know that the only reason that our South African leaders are allowing this to happen is because some of them, a majority of them who are so-called fighters, are now very wealthy by owning mines in other African countries. And that's why they're not going to fight and fight for South Africans, because they know very well that they're beneficiaries of that same system that enabled them to have mines all over. While ordinary South Africans have to deal with the crisis of this invasion from illegal immigrants every single day. But I'm saying to you, it's going to get worse, because there'll be a time where South Africans do not even want to associate with people who are not South African. Because we've been going through so much: the crime, the overcrowded buildings, the dirt, the loss of our identity, the way you make us feel small in our own country, the way you are rude, you are arrogant, and you are making it even more a problem for you to stay in South Africa. You're not helping the situation any much. So I'm asking you guys, with politeness and with kindness in our hearts as South Africans, we love you. I'm sure that's what you want to hear. But can we love you in your country? Can we help you in your countries? Can you go and reclaim yourselves, your pride, your identity, who you are? Can you go and stand up to your leaders who are destroying your countries, who are enriching themselves with that wealth that should be shared amongst you guys as the people of that country? We are doing the same. We don't want to be like you. We don't want to run away to other countries one day. And that's why we're fighting so hard. We don't want to find ourselves so desperate that the only way we can survive is going to other people's countries and telling them that we're not going anywhere and swearing at them every day and fighting just for the bare minimum. That's not the kind of future we want for ourselves, and that's why we're fighting so hard. And I know some of you know that you're wrong, but you're not going to admit it because you are so scared of facing reality. You're so scared of organizing yourselves the same way you organize yourselves here in South Africa. Getting a South African identity document is never going to take away the fact that you have a country that you need to fight for. And we're not going to absorb all millions of you because your governments are failing you. That is unfair on us. So guys, do the right thing, even for yourself and for your children. Take them home. Give them a future. Give them hope. Allow them to also want this pride that we have of fighting and standing up for ourselves. You know South Africans are not xenophobic. You know this very well. But it's come a time that we also are tired of the system that's oppressing us in our own country. And we are going to fight. Whether it's me, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's next week, whether others wake up 2 weeks from now or wake up today, it's going to move from social media. The time is coming. And all we're saying is go and fight for your country. Don't fight to come into the border and tell us that you don't want to wait in queues. You've been waiting in queues. Nobody owes you entrance to South Africa. Nobody owes you a passport or 30 days to stay in the country. Nobody owes you that. The people that owe you, you are allowing them to get away with giving you poor service. And the time has come for you to go fight for your country. It's the only way, guys.